Hi everybody, it's Kathy. Happy Saturday. This is my second video in my craft fair journals series where I'm showing you some inexpensive ways to make journals for your craft fairs. And this is so that you will have a variety of both low-cost journals to sell and your special journals, your journals that you charge a lot more for. I found last year that people really wanted to see a variety of different prices. So these journals in this series are simple, they're quick and easy to make, and today I'm going to show you a craft board journal. And these are really simple to make because you don't have to worry about binding. This is one that I've made, and if 3's my lucky number, this is the third time I've tried to videotape this. I videotaped it 2 other times and ended up making these journals, but then realized it actually wasn't recording. So let's try again. I'll show you the one I made yesterday. The closure is a wire trimmed ribbon that closes it with some flowers on the front and a little bit of lace. It's held together with 2 book rings, and these are 1-inch book rings. It's 5.5, the cover is 5.5 by 7.5 inches, and the 6 pages inside are 5 by 7. So quickly I'll run through this and show you what we're going to make today. The inside cover will make a full page pocket with a card. And when I'm making these for my craft fairs, I do it assembly style. And let me try to get this back. It looks like I have a little work to do to fix this, and I'll get back to that later. On this side is a full vertical pocket with a tag. I inked the edges, and that really just hides, you know, the ends of your craft board. We have a corner pocket with a card. I have a little pad in a little holding spot with a belly band. Here's a larger placekeeper tag with a curled paper clip. Here's a triangle pocket, which is a flap and also a pocket that holds things here, here, and in these 2 little spots here. And this page is a double triangle pocket with a card inside and some lace. Here's a bag, a glossine bag type with a bookmark. And here's simply a piece of tracing paper that I added a little rough cut flower to. And over on this side is a pad that I velcroed in, and it's simply a little place for them to write. It has a belly band on the front. And this side has a pocket at the top and has a corner pocket with a decorated index card. Here I added some deli paper. I love the sound of deli paper, any kind of different paper. And on this side is a floating pocket that has a side pocket and a top pocket. It's held in place with a clip. And then back here is a mini corner pocket with simply in a very small accordion little paper so that you have a place to journal. And that's it. So let's get started. Let me tie this back up. Okay, to start, you're going to need 4 pieces of craft board. I buy my craft board off Amazon. It's $8.91 for a pack of 25. From this, we'll make the cover and the 6 pages that go inside our journal. So you need 4 pieces. I've already pre-cut some of my pieces, except 2 that I want to show you what I do to cut it. I simply use my cutter to cut my pieces. And this is my cover, which is 5.5 inches by 7.5 inches. And let me show you quickly what you'll need. You'll need Kraft board, 2 pieces that are going to be cut from the 4 pieces you have. You need 2 pieces cut at 5.5 by 7.5. You need 6 pieces cut at 5 by 7. You need paper. Doesn't have to be cardstock. You need 4 pieces, 5.5 by 7.5. That's going to cover the Kraft board for the cover. And you need 12 pieces of 5 by 7, and that's going to cover both sides of the individual pages. You also will need paper, cardstock or not, to make all the pockets inside. Okay? So let's get started. Oh, as I showed you last time from a video from Gail Agostinelli, I think is her name. I love her tutorials, but she did a tutorial on the 10 things that she always includes in her journals. I adapted that and made one for myself. These are my things that I always include in my journals. But since we're doing a simplified journal, I don't do that for these simple journals. But what I do is I keep this on hand because it gives me ideas when I run out of ideas or I'm tending to repeat the same things. So I keep this hooked up to my lamp over here, and that helps. Okay, so we're going to cut this at 5.5 by 7.5. Whoops. You'll always want to make sure you're cutting your 7.5 on the long side. And I simply use my cutter. I cut it up and down a couple of times. I turn it over, put it in the same spot, and do it again. And what that does, it allows for you to break this off so you have a nice, neat edge. And then I'm going to make it 5.5 inches. And I'm going to do that the same way, 5.5, 5.5. And we're going to break that off. So these are going to be our cover pieces. And now I'm going to cut just one of the inner pages, and that is 5 by 7. So on this side, we're going to cut 5 inches. And we're going to line it up and cut 5 inches. Turn it over and cut 5 inches. And line it up and finish with the 5 inches. And break off end and save it. You might be able to use it for a spine in another journal. And break that. This will be 2 inner pages. And I've already done that to the other 4 inner pages. What we're going to do next is we need to cover these with paper. So this is the cover. I've already picked out paper. This is from the Country Road collection. I purchased, I want to say, probably at Hobby Lobby. That wasn't the paper I picked. I think this was. There we go. Okay. This is going to be the outside. And I'm simply going to put some glue. I always use art glitter glue. I love it. I want this to be on the bottom. And I always keep a wet wipe nearby to wipe off that excess glue that I inevitably always get all over my fingers. We crafters know what that's like. You go out to a restaurant not realizing you still have glue stuck to your fingers. Okay, these will be the front covers. And for the inside cover, I'm going to use this. And I usually do the inside covers the same. And I always try to use liquid glue. It's a little more forgiving if you don't line it up just right. And there we go. Those are the outer covers. And now we have 2 more pieces that we need to cover for the inner covers. So I'm going to use these 2 together. They'll be facing each other, I think. Let's see. So we're going to have a yellow piece. And maybe the yellow piece will have this color facing it, which I think is fine. Whoop. I just filled the bottle of glue up so it's running easily. And you see how I might have to trim things up afterwards. That's okay. But a lot of times I'm going to ink the edges of this, so I may not have to. And I'm going to put this blue next to this one. I love this paper collection. It's really pretty. I've used it on a number of journals that I've made. And then the last one. And better wipe up that mess. Okay. And this will be on this side. Now the next thing we have to do, and I've already done it to the rest of the pages, we're going to, add holes to it. And I'll show you what I do when I add holes, or when I make a journal like this. I make a template and I keep it in a big envelope that I have for templates. And then what I do is I hold that. First of all, it gives me ideas of what I did before, but then I make these little templates for the holes to make it easier to know where the holes are going to go. When you're doing this, you want to make sure you have your covers where you want them to be. I think I'm going to do them like this. So I'm going to take my 5.5 by 7.5 inch template. Let me move this one out of the way. And a pencil, if I can find mine, or a pen, because you're going to make a hole anyway. This is 1.5 inch from the bottom and 1.5 inch from the top, and it's 1/2 inch from the left edge. So that's exactly what I put on my template. I put the size of the board, 5.5 by 7.5. I make sure I note where the left edge is, that's where I'm measuring from, and so I know where to place this template. And then a reminder of what the measurements are. And then I simply go in and make a circle. I'm going to do the same thing here, making sure you're lining them up to where you want your holes to be. Many of times, I hate to say it, I've done it where the holes were backwards or on the right edge and not on the correct edge. Okay, so that's going to be ready for holes in a moment. Now we're going to do these last pieces. We don't need this anymore. Well, I'll tell you the measurements. The measurements are 1 1/4 inches from the top and bottom and 1/2 inch in from the left side. And this was the way we wanted them. So we're going to line up the template, color in the hole, so we know where to punch our holes. And once more, this is actually the most tedious part of making these journals, is covering and making the holes before you get to do the fun stuff we all like to do, which is the decoration. Okay, I'm using this Big Bite, but you can use any sort of hole puncher you want. This is just a little easier. It holds thicker papers a little easier so that you can still see. And God knows at my age, anything that's going to help me see better is a good thing. And it's very easy to punch it. You don't have to have any strength to do it. Okay, the covers are done. I want to make sure they line up. And now we'll do the last 2 pages. What's nice is you can line up this guide underneath. I have it lined up at 1/2 inch from the edge so that I know it's cutting in the right spot or punching the hole in the correct spot. Okay, I'm going to put that away back over here and clean up my mess, and we're ready to assemble it. So here's the rest of the pages that I've already cut out and put together. So we're going to figure out where we want them to go in the journal. I already said next to this one, we're going to do this one. Turn that. And then we said we're going to do the blue one next to the blue one. And that's good. Now we have another blue one. I used about I used about 6 pieces of 12 by 12 paper in order to make these. And we'll put this here. And these are all inside are all 5 by 7. And that one, those look pretty together. Okay, so that's how our journal's going to start. The next thing I want to do is round the edges. So let me get my corner rounder. And what I'm also doing, because I didn't go and buy, I'm getting them tomorrow, additional rings. I'm removing the rings from this journal that I made yesterday. You don't have to use rings for your journals. You can use ribbons. They work just fine. Let me show you this one that I did with ribbons. And it looks kind of neat. They're kind of shabby. But the pages turn fine. You have to make sure they're lined up here. There we go. But it works fine with the ribbons. This happens to be wire-edged ribbon, so it's strong. But let's round the corners. And I'm going to round them on the 1/2 inch side. Whoa, we're going to try to round them. It's not an easy task. I think it's because yesterday when I was making them, I probably have some Kraft board stuck in here, and so it makes it a little harder. I'm just rounding the outside edges. I'm leaving the edges by the holes square, but I like the way a rounded corner looks on the edges here. I think it's pretty. And you'll see on this sheet I'm cutting now, you know, it went over a little bit. That doesn't matter because when we ink the edges, you won't even be able to see it. And that goes also for paper that has gone over the edge. We can just trim that off. There we go. Okie doke. Now what we're going to do is put the little rings on. I think it's easier to, when you're decorating the book, to do it with the rings in place. Then you have no worries about what's blocked or not, you know, if it's going to close right. So you want to make sure. As I said, I only use 1-inch rings. If you're making a larger journal, use 2-inch rings. I think they might have them in 1.5 inch. But typically I usually just see the 1-inch and then the 2-inch. They're much cheaper if you buy them through Amazon. Sometimes the stationery stores are much more expensive. I got 100 rings that I'm getting tomorrow, and they were under $10. I think they were 7 something. And you pay that amount for around, you pay like $6 for about 25 when you go to like Office Depot or one of those places. Okay? All right. Now comes the fun part. We're going to say, well, let's decorate the cover while we're here. I usually like to put some sort of embellishment and then some sort of lace on the front. I have some flowers or a butterfly already picked out. So even though it does have sticky stuff on the back, I always like to put glue to make sure it stays in place. Especially as these are, you know, we're older. I don't think I'm going to put a flower here. I think one butterfly. Remember, we're keeping it simple. These are going to be low-priced items, so even though we all have a tendency to want to make them like so gorgeous with lots of stuff, you don't need to do that. I think this color lace is pretty, so I'm going to use it. And on this page, I have pre-cut the things that I'm going to use on the journal so that this can go a little faster than my last one. This side I'm going to put similar to what you looked at in the last when I did the flip through of what I made. We're going to put a full page pocket over here, and there you have it. And I always like to put, whoops, got a little carried away with the glue. I always like to put a notch in my pockets, especially when they're full page, so that folks know that they're a pocket. They know where to open it. This makes it a little easier. And we need a card for that pocket. So I made this card, and it needs a little, you know me, it needs a little rhinestone. So in order to figure out where that rhinestone's going to go, we're going to put it in, and I'm going to put it right on the edge there. Purple? Yes. I love rhinestones, so I always get them wherever I see them. I love sparkly things. There we go. That looks pretty. picks up the purple and the roses. If I can get it to stick to the paper and not to my fingers, that would be a good thing. Okay. Next, on this side, we're doing a full page flap, and I'm using the same color to pull the color over. And this will just be a vertical pocket. Very simple. Pretty. I love this paper. And we'll put a little tag in there. Pretty. So that gives someone space to write there and space to write on the back of that card. Okay, let's move along. On this side, let's see. I have lots of stuff set up here. We're going to do, oh, the colors worked out perfectly. It was funny because I was making these not knowing that I was going to use this paper. I thought I was going to use another paper, but I'm glad it worked out. So I'm going to cut the edge here just so it fits a little better. Little corner pocket. And I don't put glue up the side. That allows, but I should have corner rounded it. So let me do that at the 1/2 inch side. There we go, kind of. Whoa, woohoo! And let me put a little more glue around there. Perfect. Put a little card in there. While we go through, I am going to ink the card so I don't have to go back and do it. And I don't do this to give it an antique-y look. I do it just, it gives it some definition. It allows it to stand out a bit. Okay, and on this side, we're going to make a little pad of index cards. So I've already stapled them together, but now I need something at the top to make it look a little prettier. So I'm going to put that on the top. I always staple it underneath where I'm covering it so you don't see the staples. And then I'm going to just glue this on. Okay, that's the little pad, but now I always like to have this at the bottom to hold it in place. So all you do is you fold a little piece of paper and then glue the back. And it just makes a little pretty addition. You want to make sure it's where it needs to be. So I always glue it while the piece is in there. And then I'm going to put a belly band over it. And we're just going to put a very thin stream of glue. There we go. Pretty. More places to write on the back. Here we go. Let me clean up my mess here. Okay, on this side, what's next? Okay, on this side, we're going to put a tag, and we'll put it in with a curly clip, paper clip. You just pull out the side, little piece. Use one of these rounding tools. You get them in the jewelry section of anywhere, Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and then I just clip that in. Let me clip it in from here because it might be easier. There we go. Okay, and on this side, I'm going to make a triangle pocket. And I have a piece of 6x6 paper. I'm going to cut off the top strip. Then all I'm going to do, let's clean my mess a little for you, is fold it. Let me fold it this way. So I'm folding it in half, making sure you line up the edges. And take your bone folder or edge of your scissors. And then you're going to take the tip and fold it back. For this, you want to use two-sided cardstock. It just makes it prettier. And then I need a stone and maybe some lace, or maybe a button. How about a button? A button and a stone. Let's put this button there. Whoa. And normally you might want to sew this down. I'm not doing that for this one. What I like to do though is I'm going to take a strip of paper, a thin strip, very thin, like a smudge. This is actually probably going to be too thick. And what you can do, and actually I should have done this before I glued it down, which was my mistake, but I think this will still work. I make it like a paper thread and put it in, smush it in, good. See, if you do this before you glue it down, you don't have to go through what I'm doing now. But it looks like it's very easy to do, and it looks like you sewed it down, and it's cute. And then what you want to do is place this in your journal. And what you can do, you can place it so that this overlaps and put something there to make it like a tag. I'm not going to do that for this because I know that's where I'm going to have my closure. So I'm just going to measure where I'm going to cut it off in my psychic measuring technique. I'm a lazy crafter. Okay, and then I'm going to simply put glue up the very edge, and then what you'll end up with is almost like a quadruple pocket. Okay, and I'm also going to put glue here. Okay, so what you have is you have a pocket, you have a flap, and you have two little pockets. So what I need is something to put in the pocket. This little place, but we're going to actually put it under here. But I think there we go. And we need something for in here. We'll use this one and we'll round the edges as well. That gives them a couple of places to write. We'll put that in there. And we'll actually then make two little ones. And we're going to round the edge on the little side. And we can put that right in there. And then we could put the other one on the other side. Okay, that's it. Let's go to the next page. And the next page, we have a bag we're going to use, a glossine bag. And please look at my previous video on how to make these bags out of tracing paper. And I'm going to put that right here. So pretty. This was a digital collection, and I want to say it was probably from Linda Israel, her Calico Collage collection. I'm going to put a bookmark in there, but I need a ribbon. So I have a piece here. As I said, I have a junk plate over here, and I put everything that I'm, like all the little extras that I'm going to use while I'm making a particular journal. And then I try to clean it out before my next journal, which doesn't always happen, but most of the time it does. It really makes it easy. And the nice thing about making journals for craft fairs, these low-cost journals, is the way I've done it, where I set up everything in advance. You can do that and then really set it up as an assembly line, and it won't take long at all. This is going to be, on this side, a double corner pocket. I need to round these edges. I hate to cover up that pretty paper, but you'll be able to see it peeking out. And we'll put this down. And we'll put this down. I just love the way these double triangle pockets just draw your eye to them. It's like a little curtain, and they look so pretty. I already have a journal card ready to go. I should wait until it dries, but I'm a little impatient. It's probably going to get stuck. I need to trim it just a smudge. I'll trim it on this side so you still get the effect of the entire dress form. And let me round these edges again. There you go. Much better. And across here, I'd like to put some lace. Maybe just like that. I don't have any more of my heart lace, which I love. And they didn't have it at Hobby Lobby, unfortunately. But that's okay. I'll get over it. Oops. Add a little more glue. Okay, and rhinestones. What color should we use next? Red ones, blue ones, purple ones again. Okay. Oh, maybe blue ones, it'll pull some of the blue from over here. So we need 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. Just wipe it a little bit in case it doesn't dry clear. It usually does, but you never know. Okay, I think I can take this out now because this has dried. I will probably need it here though, as this is drying. Okay, and on this one, what are we going to do? Oh, I'm going to put a piece of tracing paper. that I simply am going to fold up this way. This is just a 9 by 12 piece of tracing paper. This is what I use to make my glossine bags. It's 25 pound. Here it is. And I have to cut it down to 8.5 by 11.5 for my printer. But I'm simply going to use this now to serve as a place to write. And I'm going to rough cut a flower. And I'm just going to put it, let's see, we'll put it across here. I'm going to cut these off. Yeah. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do with that. We'll put it under a clip. There we go. Okay, so we have it under a clip. Then on this side, I'm going to take one of these little mini notebooks. You get them in a pack of 3 from the dollar store. And I'm going to include this because these folks don't have a lot of, I didn't use plain paper, so there's not a lot of places to write. I'm already have the paper that I'm going to cover it in. And if you don't see these in the store now that it's school time, some of this stuff has been sold out. You can get them online. You have to buy at least 4 units of these. That means 4 packs of 3. And if you don't buy a case, that's not a case, they will charge you an extra $1 or so, I think, for handling fee. You can have it sent to your store that's closest to you. So I got these, and I got those hardcover journals that my last video was about, that I made these on. These were $1 each, and I had those shipped to me as well. So I'm ready. I have enough journals for my craft fair. So I'm just going to put glue on this. Let me move this mess out of the way and clean my area up a bit so you all don't get overwhelmed. And this is how I typically do this. It's a little forgiving, so you have time to move it around to make sure your little journal is all covered. And if it's not, no big deal. I trim it afterwards if I can't move it, if it's dried. But typically, this is pretty forgiving, so you're able to move it with a little elbow grease. There we go. And you want to round the corners. Actually, I could have done that before I glued it down. I could have done it on just the paper, but I didn't. I live in Miami and our schools start on Monday. Teachers went back last week. I'm going to put this here. Like a little belly band. And then in the little belly band, I'm going to cut out a heart out of cardstock. Try it again. That's better. Okay. It's a great little punch. It says love by Fiskars, and then it cuts out the words for you, which we're not going to do. Cuts out the letters. And I'm just going to slip that little heart in there. And we're going to put that right there. And I'm going to put it there with some Velcro. That way they can take it off and use it a little more easily. And always put that down first. Put the part for the back of the book on top. And then press them down. And you're good to go. I'd let that adhere for a while before removing it. And we're almost done. We have 3 more pages. And on this one, let's see. Okay. We're going to put a full page pocket. I love this striped. Full page, it feels like 2 pages. Cut out a little notch using a little, this is a 1-inch circle punch. I'm going to glue that right here. Then we're going to take a corner tuck and put that on top of it, just to give it a little something something. And then I have a card I'm going to decorate with a little bit of lace. How about we use this yellow lace again? It'll pick up the yellow there. Right? So let's put that down. And it would be nice to have another little piece of paper. I'm going to cut right along here. Don't be afraid to use these little scraps for just embellishing. It's so simple, and I think it adds so much. And I'm going to put it right on top of the lace. Just like that. And wipe it off. I'm actually going to trim the lace because I put a little bit too much. Pull it up a little bit. And that's going to go right in here. And on this side, I'm going to put a little deli paper. And all I did is I took deli paper and I cut it. And I'm going to staple it together. Just like we did for the little pad we made. Then I'm going to add this to it. And I use the same stripe to pick up the stripes over there. It's a little bit too long. So I'm going to cut it. Maybe I'll cut it using pinking shears, just for some interest. I could just hear my mother saying, "You're using the pinking shears for paper?" There we go. And going to glue that down as close to the rings as I can get. And I'm going to glue this down. And it just adds a little something something, right? Okay. Now we're on our last page, but I need to let this dry a little bit. Let me use this again. And we're over here. And on this side, I'm going to add a floating pocket, which I've already made. And let me show, well, I partially made. Took a piece of paper. I folded it in half. I rounded the corners. And I'm going to put a notch in both pieces. I'm going to glue it together. And floating pocket simply means it's not attached to your journal. It's able to come out. Then inside the floating pocket, I'm going to put this journal card. Maybe in the journal card, I'll put a punch and a ribbon. And let me see what kind of ribbon I have going here. Oh, I have some of this is kind of pretty. This is my wish ribbon. It'll pick up the background color. And I'm just going to tie it together. These little ribbons, these little things just add a touch of color and interest to whatever you're doing. And they're not expensive because the purpose of this is not to spend tons of money. You know, on the journals that I sell, I hope to even make a profit sometime because I actually spend so much on all the extras. And I'm going to put this pocket in. I like to make it out of the same color so you kind of almost don't know that there's another pocket there. And I'm going to put that right at the bottom. I still make the notch. And the only way you really know there's a pocket because there's something sticking out of it. And I am going to put a little rhinestone, a red one, on here. There we go. And then with this, I'm going to just clip it up here. And that's a floating pocket. Okay, and this side, all I'm doing is making a tiny corner pocket. I need to round the corner. Right here. Put a little bit of glue. And I didn't cut it straight. That's okay. And then this is simply a piece of paper. It was a strip that I folded in half, folded again, and then made a little accordion book, just like that. And that's going to get a gold rhinestone right on the butterfly. Okay, that is our book. Let's see what we did. We have the cover. Whoops, something happened here. It got stuck to itself. There we go. simple cover. It has a pocket here, a full pocket, a vertical pocket with a tag, a corner pocket with a card that's stuck, a little pad that's really stuck, There we go. Got stuck to the belly band. Then another pretty tag, a placekeeper. This is a corner, actually triangle quadruple pocket with a cards, and cards with a button with paper thread. Then we have a double corner pocket with a card. Let's make sure we can get that out. Yeah, this needs to be glued. Then we have a glassine bag with a bookmark. I love to put in bookmarks. We have a little tracing paper to write on. We have a little pad that's in on a Velcro. Let's see if we can get it out. Yep. With a little heart. Needs to be glued. And next we have a pocket here, a little pad in a corner pocket, little deli paper pad. Here we have a floating pocket with a card and another card. And we have a corner pocket with a little mini book. Now what we want to do is put in the closure. So I'm going to simply take the back and put a hole for the ribbon. And I'm going to put it right about center. Let me make sure. Yes. And I'm going to take some ribbon. Take some of this white ribbon, I think. Let's see. I don't have enough of that. Yeah, we'll do the white. And you're going to need enough to go around twice. So what I do is I take it and I fold it. Push the fold from the inside to the outside. Make sure I'm still in the frame here. Pull it through. And we're going to need some more than this. And that should be plenty. Going to cut it off at a diagonal. Whoops, this fell out. And I'm going to take it and push it through the loop. And pull it. And there you have it. It's probably a little bit too long. I'm going to have to trim it. Now you could add a charm. I'm not going to do it on this one. And this particular journal, I will probably be charging about $12, maybe $12 to $15. Let's see, I kind of like the way that curls up though. We'll keep it like that, it adds some interest. About $12 to $15, and so far for our inexpensive journals, we have this one that I'll be charging anywhere from 9 to 12. This one will be 15. And then next time we're going to be making these mini journals. And they're very simple. They're made with those 3-pack dollar store journals. They look like this. You get 3 in a pack. And we're going to do them very similarly. There's a full page pocket. There's a vertical pocket with a tag. We put in about every 6 pages. There's another pocket. There's a pocket glued together, so it's a full pocket with a tag. And these are so much fun. I added some deli paper in here. A full pocket in the back with a tag. There we go. And that's it. So tune in next time if you're interested in making these mini journals with me for your craft fairs. I want to thank you for watching and taking the time. I learned so much from each of you. Again, I want to thank Lyric Lover 810. Watch her YouTube channel. She does fabulous craft fair series every year. Hers are not just on journals like mine is. She does a variety. She does include some journals though. So we're going to be making these. These are the ones we've made. These are the ones from a previous video. I would also include these in my craft fairs. They're very simple, easy to make from one 12 by 12 piece of paper, piece of cardstock. We're going to include those, and we'll be making these. We will also be making, if I have it here, some envelope journals. Okay, so thanks again and have a great Saturday evening. Take care. Bye.